Hey there, synth drones. Today we're going to talk about the Juno 106 is back in the studio. Hi, I'm James Drone, aka Pure Ambient Drone, and this is my channel where I vlog about synthesizers. Hit the subscribe button, tap the bell, keep up with all of my synth adventures, and jamesdrone.com is the place to be to connect with me. How do you guys like the t-shirt, huh? Yeah, pretty cool, huh? Synth on, baby. Okay, the Juno 106 is sitting back there, and I'm going to tell you something. You're going to see some empty racks through here, because I know there's a lot of people that watch my videos, and they check out all the synthesizers that I got going on, okay? Now, I haven't gotten rid of anything. I've just moved some things to a rack outside of this room so I can trade things in and out. Now, one of the things that you're going to notice that is missing is finally, well, I think for the first time, the Behringer DeepMind 12 is no longer in the studio right now. It's sitting in another room. I know, right? I always have that thing. But I wanted to get back with the Juno 106, which I thought the DeepMind 12 could replace. But, you know, honestly, for me, no, it couldn't. I'm saying for me, okay? I don't want to get into a big argument about the DeepMind 12 as a clone of the Juno 106 because I really don't believe that it is. I think it's a modern take on the Juno 106. But the Juno 106 has its own character, has its own workflow, it has its own vibe that I seem to gel with quite well. So, you know, one of the reasons why I bought the System 8 is because I was hoping that I would get the vibe of the Juno 106 in it, which I'm not going to sit here and say anything bad about the System 8. It is a fantastic, magnificent machine, and it has the presets. They're labeled 1984 on here of the Juno 106. I just thought that there was something missing in the translation from digital to actual analog. And that's just my opinion. I always thought that, you know, there was something missing in the lower bass range. And even the DeepMind 12 really didn't do it for me in the lower registers. There's just something about the Juno 106 chorus that when you turn that thing on, you get some incredible bass vibe out of it. And I absolutely love what I'm getting out of the Juno 106. Another reason why I wanted to get the Juno 106 back is because I like the interface. And the interface on a synthesizer is the number one thing for me. And I'll tell you why. It's because of workflow. When I get used to working with something, I want to be able to have it right there, right in front of me. And I don't like to change too often, even though my studio seems to do a lot of changing, right? But I am getting comfortable with the machines that I have been using in the past few years. And I sold off some of them, but I got smart and I started to fill my studio back up with the machines that I'm used to working with. Now, a little bit of background about the Juno 106 is I sold it about 4, maybe 5 months ago to a good friend of mine who was kind enough to have mercy on me and let me buy it back from him. And he treated me very fairly on it. So kudos to him. I really do thank him for that. That's awesome. Very happy that he was able to get that back here. And it's just amazing that after all these months with people interested in buying the Juno 106, that he hadn't sold it because he wasn't gelling with it. He didn't feel the vibe that I did. And, you know, I think that the 106 vibe that I'm talking about, I really didn't even recognize that I even had a love for it as much as I did until it was gone. And you know the old Cinderella rock band song, right? You don't know what you got till it's gone. Once it was gone, you know, it was a little bit of a funny feeling. But then as time went by, man, did I started missing it. So one of the first things that I started doing since having it back is reaching for the DAW over here and adding up some tracks and using the Juno 106. Now, if you see some of these empty racks over here, you're going to notice them because almost everybody that watches my video, they, I don't know what they do. They have some kind of magnifying glass or something they pull out and they know everything that I've got in here. I'm missing some synthesizers because I'm going to be filling these racks with a Rev 2, a Prophet 6, and OB6, okay? And the System 8 is going to find its way out on my holding rack in another room until I can find some more space or I need it here in the studio. And as many of you guys know that have a lot of synthesizers, space is a premium. And I did the module thing some time back with the P6 and the OB6. I really wasn't feeling it, so I went and I bought a Prophet 6 and an OB6 keyboard, and it was much, much more enjoyable, can I say? And I sold those things too, along with the Rev 2. And now they're back in the studio. You see, sometimes I make mistakes. You know, I am human. But I admit to these things. And as I said in a previous video, I think that Sequential makes some of the very best synthesizers on this planet. And if you've ever owned any of them and then found yourself without those synthesizers after using them and recording with them and enjoying them, you will find, at least I have found, that there is a big hole missing in my studio without Sequential. Sequential, in my opinion, makes some of the very best synthesizers I can find anywhere. And that's what happened, you know. I had these synthesizers and I sold them thinking that I could use the money to buy something better. But you know, when it comes to analog synthesis, I do truly believe, and it can't be said enough, I know I sound like a broken record, Sequential, aka DSI, I think they are just the very best that you can buy. Yes, there are other fantastic synthesizers that are just as good, but in the modern day, if you're looking for polyphonic synthesizers, that's the way to go. But they have not replicated the Juno 106 as of date. Can you get the same sounds out of some of these synthesizers that I have here in my studio? Sure you can. I've got a Phantom over here, a 2019 Phantom from Roland. It can mimic some of the sounds of the Juno, right? And I've got the System 8. It can mimic some of the sounds of the Juno 106. Some of you would say it can mimic all of those sounds. Okay, it can. All right. But the vibe isn't there, that vintage vibe. I love the classic sound of these old synthesizers. And maybe it's just subliminal. I don't know. I mean, you know, it could be a mind trick, a Jedi mind trick. But for me, it's the whole experience. It's the whole package. It's kind of like, do I want sweetener or do I want artificial sweetener? Sometimes you really can't tell the difference. But when you get back to the real stuff, that's when you notice that maybe the imitation stuff, maybe it's not worse, maybe it's not better, but it is different. And so that makes it, I guess, better to have the real stuff in some ways, sometimes, right? Anyways, I'm babbling now because I'm so excited. And I got my shirt. I'm so excited about that too. Hope you guys like it. Leave some comments below on what you think of the Juno 106. And until next time, I am James Drone. Synth on! And keep calm. Oh, wait a minute. I said that backwards. I mean, keep calm and synth on.